I was born right in Hartford, Connecticut, and lived there until the end of my first year in high school, when we were part of a whole migration moving to West Hartford. And then I followed my mother's footsteps and went to Mount Holyoke and had my junior year in France, which was very formative. We had to have evaluations, like the re-accreditations here, and there was a Trinity professor on the team, and it was my advanced French class, and I hadn't, prepared them for it. It was a regular class, and we were doing a Molière. And, well, this really shouldn't be in here, but I'll tell you, the professor said, I can see we've got to upgrade our courses. He was also a French teacher at Hopkins in New Haven, like Lewis here. And he had a nice smile. We were married in '76, and he died in '99. So we just prayed that we'd have some years here together, and did have 6. And after he had a traumatic fall, he was up at St. Mary for 5 years. And so I was so glad to be nearby. The first thing I did was to rush to the window to see whether the view was what I had envisioned, because we had picked this out from the blueprints. I hadn't seen the apartment till the Wednesday before we moved, and at that point the refrigerator was still in the middle of the living room floor. And I wanted to be sure the telephone was connected. We were going to be all alone here. It was a new concept, this continuing care, relatively new in this area then. Many of us came because we had to do a lot of downsizing, and we didn't want our children to have to be faced with all that. And we didn't want them to say, time to give over the car keys. We wanted to make our own decisions. Once a week, a table at which we 3 sat prefer to speak French. It's not a club, but just an opportunity for us. They have a wonderful background. Joyce got her PhD in French at the Sorbonne and has spent years over there. And Dora is Swiss, with German as her Swiss-German her first language, but speaks French and English too. I think my liberal arts education has been invaluable because I'm never bored. There's always something in some line that I'm interested in. Just geographically, and not all the countries in between, I guess I've gone from Norway to Egypt, and then from Nova Scotia to Hawaii and Japan. So there's a little gap in there. Someday I'd love to have a private plane and just finish the way going around the world.